Jai Gurudatta. As instructed by Parama Pujya Shri Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji, let us now summarize into English what Sri Swamiji has spoken during the past few days. We were discussing about the Prahlada Upakhyana, the story of Prahlada and his unshakable devotion. Prahlada, the son of demon king Hiranyakashipu, is revered as one of the greatest devotees of Lord Vishnu. His life demonstrates the power of unwavering faith, courage, surrender, and divine remembrance. Although Hiranyakashipu was his father, he became Prahlada's greatest prosecutor because Prahlada refused to accept him as the Supreme Lord. Prahlada maintained that Vishnu alone is the creator, sustainer, and the dissolver of the universe, the source of all living beings, and the inner inspiration behind every action. Hiranyakashipu had performed severe penance for thousands of years and obtained a boon from Brahma that he should not be killed by an animal or human, during day or night, inside or outside a house, or by any conventional weapon. Misunderstanding this boon as immortality, he became arrogant and commanded everyone to worship him instead of Vishnu. His 4 sons included Prahlada, who was devoted to Vishnu from birth. According to tradition, Prahlada received spiritual instruction even while in the womb through the chanting of Hari's name. Prahlada was sent to the Gurukula of Shukracharya's sons Chanda and Amarka, who tried to teach him political strategy, worldly knowledge, and the glory of Hiranyakashipu. When the king later asked what he had learnt, Prahlada replied that the highest education is devotion to Vishnu and the praise of his divine qualities. He taught that Vishnu is beginningless, eternal, all-pervading, and the cause of everything. The essential disciplines of spiritual life are faith, devotion, trust, love, and complete surrender. Hiranyakashipu became furious and considered his own son as an enemy. He repeatedly ordered Prahlada's execution. Prahlada was attacked with weapons, poisonous snakes, elephants, fire, and other forms of torture. He was even tied down and thrown into the ocean. Yet none of these attempts harmed him. Prahlada saw Vishnu in the soldiers, weapons, animals, and every aspect of creation. His remembrance of Janardana gave him fearlessness and inner strength. He declared that one who constantly chants the Lord's name and keeps him in the heart need not fear death, disease, or old age. Prahlada's devotion was not merely personal. When he entered to the Gurukula, he taught his fellow demon children about the impermanence of worldly life and the eternity of Vishnu. He explained that all embodied beings pass through birth, growth, old age, death, and rebirth. Attachment to the body, excessive desire, greed, ego, and possessiveness bind people to this cycle of suffering. Worldly pleasures is temporary and often resembles the relief obtained by scratching an itchy wound. It feels present briefly, but ultimately causes greater harm. True happiness lies in spiritual knowledge, satsanga, devotion, and remembrance of God. Prahlada urged the children not to postpone spiritual practice. Childhood is the best time to cultivate discrimination, righteous conduct, and devotion, because old age may bring physical and mental limitations. One should postpone sinful actions but perform good deeds immediately. Through Nama Sankirtana, the ego and possessiveness, that ahankara and mamakara, gradually disappear. Prahlada embodied the ideal of a Uttama Bhagavata, a devotee who is fearless, compassionate, selfless, and concerned with the welfare of others. The story ultimately teaches that that divine protection does not always mean absence of difficulties. Rather, it gives the devotee the strength to remain steady amidst them. Prahlada's conviction was stronger than his father's power and stronger than the fear of death. His life affirms that the true education is knowledge of the eternal, that devotion can begin in childhood, and that sincere surrender to Vishnu liberates one from fear, ego, and cycle of birth and death. Prahlada's devotion and the triumph of bhakti. The story of Prahlada narrated in the Vishnu Purana glorifies unwavering devotion, compassion, humility, and faith in the omnipresence of Lord Vishnu. Prahlada taught his fellow students that Nama Sankirtana, chanting the Lord's name and glories, purifies their minds and destroys sin. Since Vishnu dwells in every being, one should see the Lord everywhere, love all the creatures as oneself, and show special compassion towards the weak and helpless. He advised them not to be jealous when others prosper, but to rejoice in their success. Jealousy, cruelty, and hatred are mere animalistic tendencies, whereas true knowledge leads one towards liberation. Prahlada declared that the entire universe is the form of Vishnu and that one must give up deha abhimana or excessive identification with the body. The pleasures of life may be taken away by disease, mental affliction, or external circumstances, but the true inner happiness or ananda cannot be stolen by anyone. The world, he said, is ultimately without lasting essence, like a dried sugar cane, while devotion to Hari alone purifies the individual and brings lasting fulfillment. When Hiranyakashipu learned that Prahlada continued to preach devotion to Vishnu, he became furious and repeatedly tried to kill him. Poison was mixed into Prahlada's food, but he sanctified it through prayer and devotion, chanting the names Achyuta, Ananta, and Govinda. The poison could not harm him. His teachers then performed an Abhichara Homa and created a destructive being called Kritya. However, when the Kritya attacked Prahlada, its weapon broke and it turned against its own creators. Prahlada prayed not for revenge, but for protection of his teachers, demonstrating that genuine devotion is inseparable from compassion and forgiveness. The teachers attempted to persuade Prahlada to obey his father and pursue power, wealth, and kingship. Prahlada replied that dharma, artha, kama, and moksha are attained only through divine grace. He respectfully acknowledged his father's greatness, but refused to abandon Vishnu, whom he regarded as the Lord of the universe. When threatened again, he explained that no individual is independently the killer or the protector. One's own karma determines the experiences of life, including birth and death. Therefore, everyone should perform virtuous actions and avoid causing pain through thought, word, or deed. Manasa, vacha, karmana. Hiranyakashipu next ordered his soldiers to attack Prahlada, bind him with serpents, and bury him beneath mountains. Prahlada prayed to the Lord with hymns such as Namaste Pundarikaksha, Namaste Tigmachakraya. Identifying himself completely with Vishnu, he became free from all bondage. When he returned to ordinary awareness, he asked the Lord for only one blessing, that he should never fall away from devotion in any birth. Vishnu granted him untainted devotion and offered another boon. Prahlada asked that his father's sins be forgiven. Vishnu declared that Prahlada's birth itself had liberated 21 generations before and after him. Prahlada still expressed no personal desire, and the Lord assured him of liberation. For a time, Hiranyakashipu's attitude changed through the Lord's grace. Later, however, his anger returned. He challenged Prahlada to show where Vishnu was present and struck a pillar, asking whether the Lord was in it. Vishnu emerged from the pillar as Narasimha, the man-lion incarnation, and killed Hiranyakashipu in accordance with Brahma's boon, neither indoors nor outdoors, neither day nor night, neither by a man nor beast, neither on earth nor in the sky. Narasimha slew him at twilight on the threshold, placing him on his lap and using his nails. Even the gods were afraid of Narasimha's fierce form, but Prahlada approached fearlessly and prayed to the Lord to become peaceful. Narasimha blessed him and promised to remain associated with the sacred Audumbara tree. Prahlada attained liberation, becoming an eternal example of steadfast devotion. His life teaches that true knowledge is that which liberates, that Hari is present in every being, and that sincere bhakti, compassion, absence of jealousy, and remembrance of the divine name can overcome fear, suffering, and every obstacle. Listening to this sacred story with faith, especially on auspicious days such as full moon, Ashtami, or Dwadashi, is traditionally believed to bring spiritual merit and protection of Lord Hari. The discourse explains Prahlada's devotion, the structure of creation, the importance of time, and the path of spiritual practice to self-knowledge. Prahlada was protected by Lord Vishnu, and listening to his story is said to bring Vishnu's blessings. His lineage continued through his son Virochana and grandson Bali. The account also refers to Surabhi, from whom cows and buffaloes are said to have descended. Bali was taught by Prahlada that neither the donor nor the receiver is truly independent. Hari alone is the ultimate doer and the recipient. The story of Diti and Indra illustrates discipline, purity, and divine purpose. Diti undertook a year-long vrata to obtain a powerful son who could defeat Indra. Indra served her and waited for an opportunity. When Diti violated the conditions of the vow by sleeping at noon with unkempt hair and unwashed feet, Indra entered her womb and divided the fetus into 49 parts. On hearing their cries, he called them Marutas, from Maruda, meaning do not cry. Diti became angry, but Indra explained that Marutas had become divine beings aligned with the Devatas rather than enemies. A central teaching is that everything is governed by Vishnu and by Kala, or time. Even Brahma can create only through Vishnu's grace, and only when appropriate time has arrived. Creation, nourishment, fruit bearing, procreation, spiritual progress, and the removal of obstacles all occur according to time. Therefore, one should perform one's duty, pray, and patiently wait for the right moment rather than force results. Kala Bhairava symbolizes time and is associated with the removing obstacles and granting permission for darshan of Vishwanatha. The discourse presents sadhana and sadhya, the spiritual practice and its goal, as apparently distinct but ultimately one. Yogis use pranayama and other discipline to attain Parabrahman, the state from which there is no return or rebirth. The deeper secret is that the means, the goal, the knowledge, and the resulting bliss are not separate realities. This identity reflects Advaita and leads to Atmajnana. Knowledge is described as pure, peaceful, incomparable, beyond ordinary activity and definition, self-revealing, independent, and free from limitation. Superior spiritual knowledge should not be confused with merely worldly or object-based knowledge, which can distract the seeker. Karma seeds produce future experiences and rebirth, whereas a yogi who ceases to create such seeds is liberated. Narayana appears both the manifest and unmanifest reality. The visible world is kshara, changeable and perishable, while the imperishable principle is Akshara, identified as Parabrahman. The expression Om Namama, used during Aksharabhyasa, Om Nama, used during Aksharabhyasa, symbolizes surrender and the beginning of learning the truth of imperishable syllable. One should remain a lifelong student. Nara is associated with worldly existence, while Narayana is a foundation in which the universe exists. Narayana is not bound by samsara. The cosmic form of Vishnu, explained by Parashara to Maitreya, symbolizes the entire universe and the inner structure of human consciousness. The Kaustuba jewel represents the Jagat, while Vishnu, as a Jagadatma, holds and sustains the universe. His weapons and ornaments represent psychological and cosmic principles. The mace signifies Buddhi, the conch represents tamasic ego, the bow represents rajasic ego and the senses, the discus represents the restless mind. Sudarshana suggests using the mind to see correctly or auspiciously. Sudarshana. It suggests using the mind to see correctly and auspiciously. The Vaijayanti garland, made of 5 kinds of flowers, represents the 5 elements. The arrows symbolize the Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas, which must function under divine direction rather than personal desire. The sword Nandaka represents Vidya or knowledge, concealed by the covering of ignorance. Thus, all time beings, mountains, senses, intellect, forms of worship, knowledge and ignorance, existence and non-existence are contained in Vishnu. The forms and weapons of deities are not arbitrary or objects of ridicule. They are prescribed in sacred traditions and assist meditation. The divine destruction of demons symbolizes the removal of inner negativity, ignorance, and attachment. The Ramayana may sincerely be understood inwardly. The struggle is against worldly attachment, while Sita represents the refined mind or inner awareness. Spiritual life begins with a sincere quest, disciplined practice, right knowledge, surrender, a patient trust in the divine order of time. Vishnu Purana discourse summary of 12th August. Structure of the Vishnu Purana. The Vishnu Purana is divided into 6 amshas comprising 126 chapters. The first amsha of 22 chapters describes cosmology, creation, Vishnu's supremacy, devotion as a path to liberation. The second amsha, containing of 16 chapters, describes cosmic geography, 7 dvipas or continents, 7 seas, 14 lokas, 7 upper and 7 lower, planets and mountains. The third to 6th amshas describe about manvantaras, dharma, royal dynasties, Krishna's life, Kali Yuga, dissolution and the yogic path to moksha. The form of Lord Vishnu. Vishnu's sakara or with form manifestation carries profound symbolism. Kaustuba Mani represents divine knowledge and pure consciousness. Shankha or conch, primordial sound, Shabda Brahma, the Veda. Chakra, the discus, represents time, mind and power of discernment. Khadga or Gada, sword and mace represent dharma, strength and protection. Shringa, horn or conch variant, represent regional iconographic forms. The position of weapons determines the deity's name and form according to Agama variations. He is Sakara yet Purvaja, prior to all. Apurva, unprecedented, and Vidya Swarupa, embodiment of knowledge. While the 14 lokas and the cosmic vision. Puranic cosmology describes 14 lokas, the 7 upper lokas, Bhuvaha, Swaha, Mahar, Janaha, Tapaha and Satya lokas, The 7 lower lokas, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Mahatala, Rasatala, and Patala. Every Brahmanda or cosmic egg contains these 14 lokas, all manifestations of Vishnu Swarupa. Creation is Anadi or beginningless and Ananta, endless. It emanates from Him and merges unto Him. Shabda, the sacred sound or word, is both Sakara and Nirakara. Guru is Shabda. All Veda, Shastra, Purana, Itihasa, Vyakarana, poetry, Satsanga, and chantings are forms of Paramatman. The story of Priyavrata and the 7 continents. Priyavrata, son of Swayambhuva Manu, married Kamya, the daughter of Kardama Prajapati, and had 10 sons. 3 sons, Samrat, Kukshi, and Putra, chose renunciation or Nivritti Marga based on Atmajnana from previous births. They had no Mamakara or Ahankara. 7 sons received the 7 Dvipas or continents to rule with Niswartha Karma, selfless action. The 7 continents include Jambu Dvipa with Bharatavarsha, Shalmali, Kusha, Krauncha, Shaka, Pushkara, and Plaksha. Priyavrata divided the earth into 7 parts, distributing them among the 7 ruling sons. Origin of Bharatavarsha. Himavarsha, from Himalayas to the southern ocean, was given to King Nabhi. Rishabha, a son of Nabhi, was a Raja Rishi who renounced, performed severe penance, Anashana Vrata, became lean with only nadis visible, placed a stone in his mouth, and left the mortal world as Digambara. Bharata, son of Rishabha, was a noble king, after whom Himavarsha was renamed Bharatavarsha. Bharata left his body at Muktinatha Kshetra in Nepal, where both Shaligrama and Rudrakshas are found. Sumati was the son of Bharata. Bharatavarsha, Karma Bhumi, and spiritual opportunity. Bharatavarsha lies south of Himalayas and the north of the ocean. It is Karma Bhumi, the field of Swarga, Pravritti, and Moksha, Nivritti. It is a field for Swarga, Pravritti, as well as Moksha, Nivritti. 7 sacred mountains, Mahendra, Malaya, Sahya, Shuktiman, Riksha, Vindhya, and Pariyatra. All beings born here can attain mukti. No other place has this capacity. Celestials praise those born in Bharata who practice Indriya Nigraha and Sadhana. They can transcend heaven and reach the Almighty. This is the only land where all 4 yugas are experienced with proper yajnas and where proper yajnas can be performed. Birth here is a rare merit earned through many janmas. Worship across continents. Each continent worships the Almighty in a specific form. Bhadrashva worships Hayagriva, Ketumala worships Varaha, Bharata Bhumi Kurma, Kuruvarsha worship the Matsya, and everywhere Vishwarupa is worshipped. All are Akhilatma worshipped according to the local tastes and forms. Datta Bhiksha tradition in Ganagapura, Swamiji spoke about it. Bhiksha given with devotion pleases the Lord. He used the word Bicham, given with neglect that does not please the Lord at all. Offering food in Ganagapura to any being for 40 days is recognized as Datta Sadhana. Lord Dattatreya accepts Bhiksha in some or the other form. The core teachings are Aham Harihi, Sarvam Idam Janardanaha. Contemplate to dissolve duality. Aham Harihi, Sarvam Idam Janardanaha. Contemplate to dissolve the duality. Vasudeva Sarvam should be chanted always. Duality or Dvandva is the cause of suffering. Non-duality eliminates sin. Consider ourselves as Atma Swarupa, not as sinners, to alleviate Ahankara. Yasya prasadat ahameva Vishnuhu. That is the teaching of Guru Gita. Never forget the Guru He is both cause and effect. Attain the sleep state of non-sin while awake itself. Satkarma means work with Bhagavat Smarana, not with selfish goals. Do not leave your sampradaya, culture or traditions. Jambu Dvipa is most pious for sadhana. Contemplation for transcendence. Keep the mind at Omkareshwara, Madhya Pradesh. There is also Makaleshwara. Contemplation on the Om leads to transcendence of Kala or time. Utilize this birth fully. Every work should be performed for Paramarthma with devotion and love. This discourse marks the end of the first Amsha and entry into the second Amsha of Vishnu Purana. Total 6 Amshas exist. The first Amsha's teachings redeem our sins when properly contemplated. On the 13th of August, Pujya Swamiji gave the discourse continued on Vishnu Purana, Cosmology and Scriptural Foundation. The teachings describe the cosmic structure of the worlds above, the sun, the stars, the Jyotish Chakra. Emphasis was placed on preserving foundational knowledge by listening to the original Moola Shlokas from Ramayana, Yoga Vasishta and Puranas, which are increasingly rare in modern times. Scientific concepts were correlated with scriptural descriptions. Earth's expansion, Panchakoti Vistara, 50 crore yojanas or 400 crore miles, circumference 12,756 kilometers, and the Milky Way's dimension of 1,20,000 light years, with 1 light year being 9.46 trillion kilometers. The Earth evolved from 9 to 7 continents with Patala and netherworlds, Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Nitala and Patala described in detail. Patala and Adishesha. Patala realms possess light without sun and moonlight without coolness. Demons sent by Vamana enjoy there, unaware of the time's passage. Sleep represents a state beyond time-related happiness. All worlds, including Patala, are sustained by Adishesha or Ananta. This is a Tamasi Tanu of Vishnu, who manifests as Balabhadra and Lakshmana. Adishesha has thousands of hoods, each marked with a swastika, appearing brilliantly white like a mountain of fire, controlling everything while watching all beings. Swamiji also described about the Kundalini and the chakra systems. The human body's chakra system mirrors the cosmic structure. The 7 chakras correspond to the 7 lokas. Lower worlds extend from the top to bottom. Upper worlds, urdhva lokas, from below upward. Kundalini energy represented as a naga remains dormant with only 0.01% utilized by human achievements. Through pranayama, breath reaches the Mooladhara and beyond, awakening Kundalini to enter the Sushumna and ascend through the chakras, elevating the soul. Adishesha bears all 7 lokas as casually as a mustard seed in one's hand, having gained this capacity through satsanga or holy company. Adishesha's iconography and worship. Adishesha wears blue cloth as Tamoguna Murti with Udreka and Mada. He holds a plough, symbolizing Earth's need for tilling, and he is adorned with a white garland worshipped by Varuni Murti. Adishesha was worshipped by sage Garga, who saw Krishna's birth chart and learned Jyotisha. Even in Patala, Adishesha, who is Shvetanaga, is not easily visible to all the residents. Swamiji also described about the different Narakalokas and the karma. Below Patala lies Narakaloka or the hell, where with various hells like Raurava and others, assigned based on the sins as detailed in Garuda Puranam. Yama, seated in the south, controls these netherworlds. Though Yama darshan is not easy, based on karma, souls go to Swarga or Naraka experience suffering proportionate to their actions. Humans have only 2 baths at birth and death. In the womb, souls recall past suffering and resolve to live austere lives, but forget it upon birth. Having a guru without practicing sadhana is like holding a lamp while closing one's eyes. One must appropriately use this birth through dedicated practice. Specific sins and their narakas. Pujya Swamiji also described the different types of sins that lead to specific narakas. Cheating, false witness, untruthfulness lead to Raurava naraka. Stealing gold, harming Brahmins, it leads to separate naraka. Robbery, lustfulness, indisciplined behavior, evil deeds, Krumi naraka, and so on and so forth. Vaitarini and Asipatra forest was also described. Vaitarini is a difficult river to cross. Asipatra forest, the punishment is Asipatra forest punishes tree cutters with sword-like leaves. The Garuda Puranam describes all these narakas in detail. Liberation through Namasmarana. Only Bhagavan Namasmarana or chanting the divine name enables transcendence of these narakas or hells. Swamiji also explained about the devotion to Jagannatha. The discourse that day concluded with the devotion to Jagannatha, describing his huge eyes and magnificent Ratha. Though he looks upon devotees, they often fail to see him. At Puri's Shankarapeetham, Annakshetra, 7 pots of wood fire cook, with the top pot cooking first, symbolizing the 6 chakras. Lakhs attend Rathotsava with Subhadra, Balabhadra and Jagannatha. The prayer invokes Jagannatha Swami, Nayana Pathagami Bhavatume. May Lord Jagannatha be the object of my vision. Seeking liberation from samsara and sins, with Parabrahma on the Niladri's peak, Ananta's head, and divine bliss. Swamiji's spiritual discourse on the 14th of August. On the 8th day of the Shatachandi Yaga, 1,000 women chanted the Lalita Sahasranama invoking the Divine Mother's grace. Simultaneously, the Jayalakshmipuram community recited the entire Sundarakanda before Hanuman, adorned as Jayalakshmi Mata. Sundarakanda Parayana confers the merit of reciting the whole Ramayana, brings joy and removes suffering. The Lalita Sahasranama is regarded as the essence of all knowledge and a powerful means for spiritual protection. Cosmology, Adisesha, Patala and Naraka. Adisesha is the tamasi or the inert aspect of Vishnu, supporting the 7 nether worlds, Patala, beneath the earth. Below Patala lies Naraka, where sins are expiated. Asipatravana, the forest of sword leaves, is the Naraka for those who wantonly fell trees or abandon Vedic teachings. The injection, plant a tree before cutting when unavoidable. Dharma, vratas and transgressions. Vratalopa or breaking vows must be avoided. Many vratas are family observances. Falling from ashrama dharma or violating varnashrama boundaries leads to specific narakas. A brahmachari should not sleep during daytime. Role reversals that invert dharma. Fathers learning from children inappropriately lead to Shvabhojana naraka. The remedy is proportionate prayaschitta or atonement. Neither neglect nor excess is advised during performing prayaschittas. Sundarakanda as Veda Parayana and Bhakti Supreme. The verse Veda Vedye Pare Pumshi in Shatashloki Ramayana teaches that when the Supreme Being, knowable through Vedas, incarnated as Rama, the Vedas descended as the Ramayana. Thus, Sundarakanda Parayana equals Veda Parayana. God's blessings are equally available for all. Bhakti or devotion is paramount. Deviation from ashrama dharma brings naraka. Omission of prayaschitta also compounds the sin. Swamiji explained that Namasmarana is the universal antidote for any sin. Krishna Smarana and Vishnu Smarana redeem all sins, even those deemed otherwise non-redeemable. Chanting Achyuta Ananta Govinda immediately dispels difficulties. Namasmarana is not casual recollection, but samsmarana, deep, faith-filled remembrance that sows seeds for mukti or liberation, surpassing even swarga, which is temporary. For such devotees, naraka is nullified. Swamiji explained that swarga and naraka, the mind as the cause. Swarga is what pleases the mind. Naraka is the opposite. Punya, virtue leads to swarga. Papa, sin leads to naraka. Objects are neutral. Attachment causes pleasure, pain, jealousy, and anger. Regard attachment as a snake that swallows you. Use objects appropriately without being consumed by attachment or aversion. Bondage and freedom arise within. Jnana, ego, and technology. The mind drives experiences. Even technology, example, phone or listening, can steer thoughts. Swamiji advises, use it carefully. Jnana or knowledge is Parabrahma. But when tinged with ego, it entangles. Jnana without ego is the goal. It enables discernment of vidya, higher knowledge, and avidya, or ignorance. Jnana without ego is the goal. That enables discernment of vidya and avidya. It differentiates between higher knowledge and ignorance. Cosmic order and solar phenomena. Various Surya, suns, grahas, planets, and dvipas, islands, and rivers are described. Their inhabitants perform karmas by Vishnu's grace. There is no literal sunrise or sunset, only darshana, that is appearance, and adarshana, or disappearance of Ravi, that is sun, appears as sunrise or sunset. Nothing surpasses tapas. Udayastanana is the sun's appearing or disappearing, leading into Sandhya Vandana with chanting of Hari's name. Ethics, Panchayajnas, and gatekeepers to moksha. Causing pain to others leads to naraka. Helping others leads to swarga. Apologize for inadvertent harm. Introspect and correct yourself. Namasmarana is Sarva Aushadhi, universal medicine. Removing Bhavaroga, disease of worldly existence. Continuous remembrance is the secret of yogis, rishis, and abadhutas. Panchayajnas redeem minor daily sins. They are Deva Yajna, or doing puja, Bhuta Yajna, offering to beings, Manushya Yajna, service to humans, Pitru Yajna, rites to the ancestors, and Brahma Yajna, that is studying or teaching of Vedic sacred knowledge. Performing Namasmarana thrice daily aids redemption and deters future sin. Swamiji also explained about the four gatekeepers to moksha. Shama, or tranquility, Vichara, or discriminative inquiry, Santosha, or contentment, Sadhu Sangama, or company of good. These are the four gatekeepers to moksha, or liberation. Cultivating these purifies the mind and leads to liberation. The section closes with the Grahamandalam description and reiterates sunrise, sunset as darshana, adarshana, and Surya Upasana is essential in this Manvantara, Swamiji explained. Brahmarpanam, all is Hari. Brahman is the Moola Prakriti, or the root nature, both Vyakta, manifest, and Avyakta, or unmanifest. Everything arises from and merges into him. Brahmarpanam vision, the vision of Brahmarpanam. The offering, the oblation, fire, the offerer, food, the eater, and digester, all are Hari. Nothing lies beyond him. See him as omniscient. This mirrors Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, sloka 24, and the traditional Bhojana mantras. On the 9th day of the Shatachandi Yaga, the Pondicherry team led bhajans and performed Annadana Seva at the Pondicherry Ashram, revered as the Guru's temple. The day also marked India's 80th Independence Day, celebrated with distribution of bags to the underprivileged children. The discourse highlighted Bharata as Karma Bhumi, the land of action, extolled in the Vishnu Purana as uniquely enabling mukti liberation, a status even celestial beings envy. Harinama Smarana and Surya Upasana. The satsang emphasized Harinama Smarana as a means to redeem all sins and attain both bhukti, prosperity, and mukti. Addressing common misconceptions about the sun and the creation, the discourse urged correlating scientific insights with deeper Puranic research, respecting indigenous knowledge systems, and protecting Sampradaya and Granthas. Surya Upasana was underscored as paramount in Vaivasvata Manvantara, with Aditya Hridaya and 12 names of Surya recommended for daily chanting with offering of water. Sandhya Vandana, Gayatri, and Mandeha demons. During the three Sandhyas, the Mandeha demons, cursed to die and reborn daily, assail Surya. Chanting Omkara and Gayatri with ablution, or Arghya and Mantra and Upasthana protects Surya and earns his blessings. Neglect renders one as a drohi or traitor to Bhaskara. Practitioners transcend Surya Loka and reach the Almighty. And Vishnu Padam described as the fruit of both Gayatri and Surya Upasana. Vishnu Pada, Ganga and liberation. Yatis who have renunciated, who are beyond Yatis renunciates beyond Punya and Papa, attain Vishnupada by seeing all as Brahman. Householders accrue Punya via Gayatri Japa and Surya Upasana to ultimately reach the same. Vishnupada, the foundation sustaining all worlds and their rainfalls, is the source of Ganga, brought down when Vamana's feet pierced the universe. Brahma collected this water in his Kamanda to wash Vishnu's feet, after which celestials, Dhruva and Saptarishis revered it. Shiva held Ganga on his head for centuries before it flowed to the earth. Bathing in Ganga with faith redeems sins, and Tarpanam to Pitru Devatas there sanctifies the entire family. Ganga's grace and Dattaji's Kirtana about Ganga. Even hearing, seeing, touching, drinking or chanting Ganga's name from afar washes 3 Janmas sins and grants Vishnu Loka. Vasudeva himself prefers Ganga's banks. The Kannada translation of Sri Krishna Shatakam and the Kirtana Yehi Pahi Punihi Gange by Dattaji were highlighted, praising Ganga as embodiment of compassion, carrying the energy of Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, following Bhagiratha and purifying Vak, Manas and Kaya. Ganga Dashami, Jyeshta Shuddha Dashami, marks her Deeksha day, celebrated with Ganga Dashashloki. This is a summary of the discourse on the 16th of August. The 4th year of the Chaturmasya Shatachandi Yaga concluded today. The occasion was marked by a special shower of rain at noon, understood as the grace of Divine Mother and as an effect of the Yajna. Such sacred events enslaves. Love elevates, desire entraps. These are the teachings which Swamiji mentioned. On the 18th of August, the story of Jadabharata continued. The context, the session covered the Bharatopakhyanā, which becomes the Jadabharatopakhyanā from the Bhagavata, alongside the Dharmantari worship with Trendravyas, Charaka Samhita Parayana by the Ayurvedic students, and the Jayalakshmi Mata story sung by Pavan and team. Pujya Dattaji's Nayagara Raga Sagara was also remembered. The core teaching for the day was duty without attachment. Do your duty sincerely with the mind fixed on God without mamakara, mindness or ahankara, ego. The beggar teaches us to be ourselves by giving and not to become him by withholding. Work is worship only when done as duty with mind on the God. Work is not replacement for God. Overzealous humanity that neglects spiritual practice is unwarranted. Pujya Swamiji cautioned. The fall of Bharata. Bharata had renounced his kingdom, children, everything to do tapas at Muktinatha. He saved a fawn and grew attached to it, overprotecting it, cutting grass, feeding it, and even though it could fend for itself. He forgot his religious duties, stopped chanting Hari, and his samadhi was disturbed. When the deer was near, he was blissful. When it was away, he turned pale. Mamakara, that is mindness, transferred into ahankara. From mine, it became me. He died thinking of the deer, and his mind carried that impression to the next birth. Birth as a deer. He was reborn as a mriga, deer in Jambu Marga. The mind makes the form of what one thinks. Because of his past good deeds, he received the Purva Janma Smriti or memory of the past lives. Realizing his mistake, he left his mother even as a fawn, returned to Muktinatha and did Hari Seva, observing Ekadashi and bathing in the 108 Tirthas. Chanting Hari's name, he died and was born in the house of a Veda Pandit. Birth as Jadabharata. Sadhana is the cause of good birth. His past merit gave him memories of previous lives. He was born as a great Veda Pandit with knowledge of all the Vedas and Prakara Jnana, seeing Paramatman in everything from insects to celestials without difference. In school he listened but never spoke, performed no karma and showed no interest in Shastras, like a child with autism in his own world. He behaved like a Jada, inert one, hence called Jadabharata. He was indifferent to his body. He had untidy clothes, an unwashed face, and was always insulted by villagers. The yogi's conduct. One in yogi must flee from some sanmanas or praises. One in yoga must flee from sanmanas or praises. Refusing praise brings siddhi, and enduring harsh treatment during sadhana also leads to siddhi. Sadhana must be secretive. Prachanna sadhana Swamiji describes, and seen only by Guru and Hari. Jadabharata attained Atma Darshana and blissful Avadhuta state. He was internally blissful, externally like a madman, just as the different phases of Avadhutas are described as Bala, Unmatta, Pishacha Rupa. He ate whatever was available. He laughed at ritualistic controversies, and he played with children. However, people came to know the sun's glory cannot be hidden. People slowly came to know the Kali sacrifice and the chariot. After his father died, his brothers made him plow like a bull. A king's soldier saw him as a strong and effulgent and chose him for a human sacrifice to Kali for the king's progeny. Jadabharata followed willingly. As he was placed on the guillotine, Kali emerged from the idol, killed the king and the soldiers, and returned to the Vigraha. Later, King Sauvira's chariot was being carried, and Jadabharata was made to bear it. Great Vedanta conversation followed, and the king fell at his feet, saying, "I see my Guru Kapila in you." The key shlokas that were referred today were Yoginam api dhimatam, Hari's intervention in granting a good birth, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi. One cannot remain still from karma even for a minute. Karma done without attachment and without expecting results is essentially for Bhagavat Sakshatkara. Me and mine, mamakara and ahamkara is karma bandha or leads to bondage. The story of Jadabharata continues. Jadabharata, so named because he behaved like a dullard, was protected by Kali and he lived indifferently, simply sitting in the farm. One day the palanquin of King Sauvira passed by. One of his carriers had fallen sick, so Jadabharata was summoned to take his place. King was journeying to Kapila Muni to ask what one should take from this world which seems so full of pain. The new carrier, that is Jadabharata, could not match the pace of the experienced bearers, and the mismatch angered the king. Seeing that Jadabharata appeared strong yet seemed weary, the king rebuked him. Now comes the Jadabharata's teaching. Jadabharata replied that he was neither strong nor tired, and that he was not bearing the palanquin at all. When the king protested that this contradicted what was plainly visible, Jadabharata challenged the notion of pratyaksha, that is direct perception. He asked, what did the king see? Did he see the deha, the body, the jiva, or the paramatman? It is the shoulders, not the self, that bear the weight. The body itself is borne by the panchabhutas, or the five elements, and we are entangled by the gunas. The body is panchabhautika sharira, and even the sense of I and mine is false, arising from karmic cycle. The Atman is devoid of attributes and is beyond afflictions. The true exercise is to reveal one's self by crossing the barriers of the koshas. Without samskara, one neither raises the question nor seeks self-knowledge. The king's surrender. Convinced, Sauvira Maharaja leapt from the palanquin, held Jadabharata's feet and begged pardon. He asked to serve him and have his doubts resolved. For Shraddha, faith, and Bhakti, devotion, are qualification of spiritual knowledge, and without Guru Bhakti one cannot attain salvation. Jadabharata said he did not know who he was. He had come only to clear his karma. Everyone comes bearing punya and papa karma, which cause pain and pleasure through dharma and adharma, the cause of this body. The king then asked, is saying aham or I wrong? How can one not know oneself? How can one survive without using the term I? The final teaching, Jadabharata answered that saying aham is not a sin. What is wrong is mistaking the atma, anatma, or non-self for Atman. Soham refers only to the Atman. Even our breath reverberates with Soham. The king's closing prayer was, O Krishna, you are proclaimed the protector of all. Please protect me and make your name true. For I have no protection other than you. You are the Adhara, support of all. You are incomparable, O Krishna, protect me. Guru Bhakti, devotion to the teacher, mother, father and guru is essential to free oneself from the sorrow of samsara. One must surrender to Guru, especially in matters of adhyatma, that is spirituality. The self is distinct from the body and the elements. It is beyond attributes, and one must realize this true nature. One must realize that this true nature. The dialogue between Jadabharata and King Sauvira centers on the distinction between body, worldly identities, and the true self or Atman. Jadabharata explains that it is incorrect to refer to something that is not the real self as I. The body, speech, mind, intellect, bodily attributes are different from the Atman. Hence, when you asked who are you, the question and the ordinary answer are both inadequate. The teaching of Dakshinamurti, who instructs through silence while seated beneath the banyan tree, points to this truth beyond words. The body is compared to a chariot. The body is the chariot, the intellect is the charioteer, the mind is the rein, the Atman is the true rider. Just as a palanquin made of wood is given a practical worldly name, the body is called human, animal, tree, or another form according to karma. These names and forms are useful for worldly dealings but do not represent the real identity of the jiva, whose essential nature is Paramatman. When the body or any material object is destroyed, it is discarded, but the Atman is not destroyed. The changing in the perishable cannot be the eternal self. A person assumes many temporary identities, like king to his subjects, son to his father, father to his child, husband to his wife, friend to one person, enemy to another. These roles change according to relationships and circumstances. The real self is beyond all such names, forms, and attributes. The Ghatakasha principle illustrates this. Space appears limited by the pot, but when the pot is removed, it is recognized as the same limitless space. Similarly, the individual self appears limited by the body, but is in truth one with the all-pervading Paramatman. One must search for the self amidst disguises created by body, mind, relationships, worldly roles, just as Hanuman searched for Sita amidst the women in Lanka. The king then asks what he actually doing if all actions arise through the gunas. He seeks to understand the difference between Shreyas. He seeks to understand Shreyas, the highest good. Jadabharata distinguishes Shreyas, Preyas and Paramartha. Shreyas generally refers to a desirable benefit or fruit of action, while Paramartha is the imperishable ultimate truth. Rituals, charity, worship, dharma, prosperity, kingdoms, and even heavenly merit may be considered beneficial, but they remain limited, personal, and temporary. If an action is performed with an attachment to its result, it remains within the realm of karma. Even actions performed without desire for results, meditation, and other spiritual practices are not themselves paramartha, because they still involve distinctions between the practitioner, the practice, and the object of meditation. Only the Paramatman itself is Paramartha, eternal, all-pervading, changeless, and imperishable. The ultimate Shreyas is therefore not any worldly gain, but the knowledge of one's true nature as Atman. Alignment with Paramatman is facilitated by yoga, devotion to Guru, reverence to realized beings, and the cultivation of spiritual knowledge. The Guru undergoes great effort to guide the disciple through this realization. The teaching Eko Vyapi Sarvam Brahma affirms that Brahman pervades everything. The story of the disciple of the wild elephant illustrates that spiritual insight must be applied with discrimination. Although the elephant is Brahman, the Mahot who wants a person to move away is also Brahman, and his instruction must be obeyed. Thus, non-duality does not justify ignoring practical worldly wisdom. Jadabharata also narrates the teaching of Ribhu and Nidhaga. Ribhu repeatedly instructs his disciple in Atmajnana, firstly through questions about taste and satisfaction, and later by using the example of a king and an elephant. Through Guru's grace and repeated instruction, Nidhaga attains spiritual liberation. The story emphasizes the necessity of Guru Bhakti, perseverance, and the compassionate effort of the Guru. The central message is that all bodies, roles, possessions, achievements, and fruits of action are temporary. One should not insult or discriminate against anyone on the basis of appearance, disability, status, or other changing attributes, because the same Paramatman dwells in all. The seeker must look beyond the perishable and recognize the eternal self, the soul, or the supreme Paramartha. Avadhuta Tattva and Paramartha. Avadhuta Tattva points to the state of one who is gone beyond bodily identity, worldly attachments, karma, and the dualities of life and death. Paramartha means the ultimate truth, the Paramatman himself. It is eternally pure, changeless, non-dual reality. Karma, rituals, and even practice of Atma Dhyana remain within the field of distinction and therefore cannot themselves be Paramartha. Names such as Ekam Advitiyam are used only to explain that reality. In absolute non-duality, there is neither a second entity nor even the necessity of describing something as one. The Paramatman is all-pervading and appears as different beings and forms because of the varying names and forms and attributes. This is illustrated by a flute. The same undivided air enters through its 9 holes, yet different notes are produced depending on which holes are closed or covered or opened. The air itself remains unchanged and untainted. Only the instrument produces variety. Similarly, the one Paramatman appears as many beings. Our prayer should be, O Lord, make us instruments through which you may express yourself. When coverings and distinctions are removed, only the one all-pervading reality remains. The inner Anahatanada may be contemplated as a means of recognizing this truth. Discussion of Shreyas and Paramartha. Jadabharata explained to the king Sovira that Shreyas and Paramartha must first be distinguished. Shreyas differs according to the individual. Worldly duties, actions, and the fruits of action may be beneficial and desirable, but they remain relative. Paramartha, however, is not an object of achievement or experience. It is Paramatman himself. The goal is therefore to turn towards the path of liberation, cultivate equanimity or samasthiti, and overcome attachment. The principle Samyam hi muktaya, control and balance lead to liberation, is also reflected in the Bhagavad Gita. Chaturmasya austerities encourage discipline, restraint of senses, and inward spiritual practice. Jadabharata narrated the teaching of Ribu and the son of Brahma to Nidhaga, the son of Pulastya. Although Nidhaga studied Vedanta, he had not developed the true Vairagya or direct experience. Knowledge alone does not remove attachment. Guru must guide the disciple towards lived realization. This is compared to a monkey whose hand remains trapped in the bottle because it refuses to release the nuts it is holding. After Nidhaga left his guru, Ribu continued to watch over him. 1,000 years later, Ribu approached him in the form of a scholar. Nidhaga welcomed him, offered food, and listed various dishes. Ribu asked for food containing rasa, meaning essence. But Nidhaga understood it as only the taste and arranged sweets, payasam, curd, and other delicacies. After eating, Nidhaga asked whether Ribu was satisfied and where he had come from and was going. Ribu replied that hunger, thirst, satisfaction, and taste belong to the body and mind, not to the true self. He was eternally content, that is Nityatrupta, unattached to taste, and present everywhere like the sky. The questions from where, to where, and where do not apply to the all-pervading self. The same taste changes with time, circumstance, and individual preference. Therefore, attachment to taste is a source of suffering. Ribu revealed himself as Nidhaga's guru and instructed him to abandon sense attachment, recognize the Vasudeva Tattva, and follow the path of Mukti. The tongue controls both taste and speech. Making a restraint is particularly important. Ribu later returned once again to initiate Nidhaga fully into the truth. The second Amsha concludes with Jadabharata's instruction to King Sauvira. To explain the truth of non-duality, he narrated the story of sage Ribu and his disciple Nidhaga. Ribu, the son of Brahma, had initiated Nidhaga, the son of Pulastya, into spiritual wisdom. Although Nidhaga had learned the scriptures, he had not yet overcome the sense of difference between individual, the world, and God. Ribu therefore visited him repeatedly, sometimes in disguise, after intervals of 1,000 divine years. During an earlier visit, Ribu questioned Nidhaga about food, hunger, residence, and movement. He explained that hunger and satisfaction belong to the mind and body and mind, whereas the self neither comes nor goes, neither resides in one place nor travels to another. The Atman is all-pervading like space. Therefore, the distinction of I, you, here, there, sweet, unsweet, arise only through the mind and bodily identification. On another occasion, Ribu found Nidhaga watching a royal procession. Nidhaga said that the person seated on the elephant was the king and the four-legged creature below was the elephant. Ribu asked him to explain what was above and what was below. Irritated, Nidhaga climbed upon Ribu's shoulders and said, I am above like the king, and you are below like the elephant. Ribu then asked, who are you? Who am I? Who is above? Who is below? This simple question destroyed Nidaga's identification with the body and social position. He realized that the same consciousness, the Paramatman, pervades the Guru, the disciple, the king, the elephant, and the entire universe. He fell at Ribu's feet and recognized him as his Guru. Ribu assured him that he was not angry because Nidaga had served him previously. It was his duty to redeem him from the cycle of samsara. Advaita cannot be understood merely as an intellectual doctrine. It must be directly realized. When the mind gives up the Bheda Bhava or perception of separateness, one sees the one undivided Vasudeva in all beings. Jadabharata therefore advised Sauvira to abandon pride, anger and discrimination between friend and enemy and to develop Paramartha Drishti. The Bhagavata teaching similarly states that the mind binds the jiva to samsara when attached to sense objects, but becomes an instrument of moksha when purified and detached. The easiest means of purifying the mind in the present age is Govinda Nama Sankirtana. Everyone is eligible for Namasmarana, Mantra Japa and Rupa Dhyana. God does not gain anything by our chanting. Rather, the devotee's mind is gradually cleansed of ego, attachment and impurities. Through devotion, the mind becomes Vimalamati, clear, pure and fit for liberation. Bhakti, when practiced with sincerity, naturally leads towards mukti. The devotional song beginning Matibodha Gatidura Dattadeva Gatinine expresses surrender to Lord Dattatreya. O Datta, you are beyond coming and going. You are my protector, present within me and containing the entire universe. As Krishna was in Devaki's womb, while Devaki herself was contained within Krishna, the Lord is both immanent and transcendent. Life is like traveling through a dense forest, and Datta is the map. The compassionate rain upon the dry heart, and the light that dispels the darkness of ego. The prayer culminates in the aspiration of Sachidananda, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Brahman as truth, knowledge and infinity. The beginning of the third Amsha. The third Amsha describes the cosmic order of the Manvantaras. One day of Brahman contains 14 Manvantaras and each is governed by a Manu, an Indra, group of Devas, 7 sages and specific manifestations of Lord Vishnu. The present period is the 7th, ruled by the Vaivasvata Manu, also called Shraddha Deva, the son of Vivaswan, the sun god. His son Ikshvaku founded the solar dynasty in which Lord Rama was born. The Indra for this Manvantara is Purandara, and its Saptarishis are Kashyapa, Atri, Vasishtha, Vishwamitra, Gautama, Jamadagni, and Bharadwaja. Lord Vishnu incarnated in this Manvantara as Vamana, the son of Kashyapa and Aditi. The standard sequence of the first 7 Manvantaras is Yajna, Vibhu, Satyasena, Hari, Vaikuntha, Ajita, and Vamana. The notes also emphasize Surya Upasana during the Vaivasvata Manvantara and reverence to Pitrus through appropriate observances on Amavasya. The central message remains the same: recognize the one Paramatman in all beings, cultivate devotion, purify the mind, and progress from worldly vision to liberation. Jai Guru Datta.
अनन्तरूपेण विराजितश्च अनन्तवीर्याणि गुणैः प्रपूर्णः तं सच्चिदानन्द विभुं व्रजामः तं सच्चिदानन्द विभुं व्रजामः.
ID number 138 1938. रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घन शर राम रिपुहर राम.
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम
घन शर राम रिपुहर राम. रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घन शर राम रिपुहर राम.
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घन शर राम रिपुहर राम.
मयि कुरु बोधं विगलितमोहं.
मयि कुरु बोधं विगलितमोहं.
त्वयि कृतरागं प्रविततयोगं.
त्वयि कृतरागं प्रविततयोगं.
त्वयि कृतरागं प्रविततयोगं.
त्वयि कृतरागं प्रविततयोगं.
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घन शर राम रिपुहर राम.
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घन शर राम रिपुहर राम.
प्रविजित सोम प्रविहत काम.
प्रविजित सोम प्रविहत काम.
प्रचुरित धाम प्रमुदित भीम.
प्रचुरित धाम प्रमुदित भीम.
शमदमशीला सुमसमहेला.
शमदमशीला सुमसमहेला.
तनुनुत काला सुमधुरलीला.
तनुसुत काला सुमधुरलीला.
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घन शर राम रिपुहर राम.
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घन शर राम रिपुहर राम.
यदि भुवि धर्मो विगलितमर्मो.
यदि भुवि धर्मो विगलितमर्मो.
वसुरनुकुर्यात् नहि तव रूपम्.
वपुरनुकुर्यात् सहि तव रूपम्.
उपनिषदर्थो यदि कृतदेहो.
उपनिषदर्थो यदि कृतदेहो.
भवसि च त्वं सच्चिदानन्द.
भवसि च सत्वं सच्चिदानन्द.
उपनिषदर्थो यदि कृतदेहो.
उपनिषदर्थो यदि कृतदेहो.
भवसि च सत्वं सच्चिदानन्द.
भवसि च सत्वं सच्चिदानन्द.
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घन शर राम रिपुहर राम.
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घन शर राम रिपुहर
राम. रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घन शर राम रिपुहर राम.
रघुवर शुभकर श्रीराम घन शर राम रिपुहर राम.
रघुवर शुभकर
शुभकर श्रीराम घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
घनशर राम रिपुहर राम
మధుసూదనా శ్రీ హరే హర మాధవ
माधव मधुसूदना श्री हरे हर माधव श्री हरे माधव मधुसूदना श्री हरे हर माधव हरे माधव श्री हरि हर माधव माधव मधुसूदना श्री हरे हर माधव श्री हरे हर माधव बोलो श्री 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 गणपति सच्चिदानंद स्वामी जी की जय लक्ष्मी माता जी की श्री दत्त विजयानंद तीर्थ स्वामी जी की
ನಿನ್ನೆ ತನಕ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಕವರ್ ಆಲ್ ಇಸ್ ಬ್ಲೆಸ್ಸಿಂಗ್ಸ್
జై గురుదత్త శ్రీ గురుదత్త అందరికీ ఏకాదశి శుభాశీస్సులు. ఈరోజు శ్రావణ మాసం ఏకాదశి చాలా విశేషం. శ్రీచక్రార్చన సమయంలో మన మైసూరు ఆశ్రమం అలాగే మైసూరు భజన బృందం పిల్లలు చాలా చక్కగా పాడారు. ఈరోజు దత్తహోమం మహాపూర్ణాహుతి కూడా ఈరోజు మనం దర్శించుకున్నాం. ఇక్కడ మైసూర్లో ఈసారి 8.5 లక్షలు హోమం అయింది. చాలా దాని మహాపూర్ణాహుతి కూడా ఈరోజు దర్శనం చేసుకున్నారు. ఆ తరువాత అతి అద్భుతమైన కార్యక్రమం, చాలా భక్తిగా ఆనందంగా పూర్తిగా నారాయణీయం పారాయణ చేసుకుని విన్నాం. భక్తులు అనేక ప్రాంతాల నుంచి వచ్చి ఈరోజు నారాయణీయం పారాయణ చేశారు. చాలా ఆనందంగా ఉంది, చాలా సంతోషంగా ఉంది. దత్తాజీ వారు గురువాయూరప్ప గురించి ఎన్నో భజనలు పాడారు. అక్కడికి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు కూడా ఎంతోమందికి ఎన్నో అనుభవాలు. గురువాయూరప్ప అంటే మన దక్షిణ భారతం ఈ ప్రాంతంలో పాండురంగ విఠలలాగా అని చెప్పవచ్చు మనం. అక్కడ పాండురంగ విఠల ఎలాగైతే మహారాష్ట్రలో భజన నామ సంకీర్తనకో, అలాగే గురువాయూరప్ప అంటే స్తోత్రానికి నారాయణీయం ఈరోజు చాలా చక్కగా, అంటే 99.9% తప్పులు లేకుండా పాడారు. అసలు ఎవరు కదలలేదు, ఎవరు అక్కడ ఇక్కడ చూడలేదు. పూర్తిగా భక్తిగా ఏకాగ్రంగా 1000 శ్లోకాలు, పైగా అవి పెద్ద పెద్ద ఛందస్సులు. నారాయణీయం శ్లోకాలు అంత సులభం కాదు చెప్పటం. అటువంటిది ఈరోజు ఒక 5 గంటలు పూర్తిగా అలా అది ఒక మయం, తన్మయంగా అందరూ కూడా మంచి ఆరోగ్యానికి, మంచి భక్తికి నారాయణీయం పారాయణ చాలా ముఖ్యం. భాగవతం అంతా పారాయణ చేసిన పుణ్యం వస్తుంది. నారాయణీయం ఒకసారి మనం వింటే గనక, అదే 18,000 శ్లోకాలు పారాయణ చేయాలి అంటే సప్తాహంలో అవ్వటం కూడా కష్టం. భాగవతం కష్టమైన భాష. అటువంటిది నారాయణీయం పారాయణ చేస్తే సంపూర్ణ భాగవత ఫలం వస్తుంది. ఎవరెవరు పారాయణ చేశారో వారికి మాత్రమే కాకుండా ఎవరు కూర్చొని విన్నారో వారికి కూడా ఫలం వస్తుంది. ఇలా ఈరోజు మన నళిని అమ్మ ఎప్పటి నుంచో నారాయణీయం పారాయణ చేయించాలి అని అడుగుతున్నారు. పిఠాపురంలో జరిగింది, చక్కగా అందరూ వచ్చి చేరారు. ఇక్కడ అమ్మ చెప్పారు దత్తాజీ వారికి, ఇలా చాతుర్మాస్యంలో పారాయణ అనుకుంటున్నాము స్వామిజీ అని చెప్పారు. ఎంతమంది అని అడిగారు దత్తాజీ. ఒక 200, 300. అలా కాదు, 1000 మందిని తీసుకొచ్చి చేయించాలి అని అన్నారు దత్తాజీ. అందుకనే ఈరోజు అంతమంది చేరారు దత్తాజీ వారి కృపతో, అనుగ్రహంతో. ఇలాగే మీరందరూ కూడా అభ్యాసం చేస్తూ ఉండండి, పారాయణ చేస్తూ ఉండండి. చాలా ఉత్తమమైన ఫలం. భాగవతంలో వచ్చేటువంటి విషయాలన్నీ కూడా అలా ఒకసారి మనం అర్థము చదువుకుంటే కూడా చాలు, పూర్తిగా మీకు భాగవతం అంతా అర్థమైపోతుంది. ఇక్కడ గంగా గీత అనే ఒక శ్లోకం ఉంది, దానికోసం చూస్తున్నాను. ఇవన్నీ కలిసి రావటం చాలా మంచిది. 93. ఆహా, రెండు. గంగా గీతా చ గాయత్రి అపి చ తులసికా గోపికా చందనం తత్ సాలగ్రామాభిపూజ పరపురుష తథైకాదశి నామవర్ణాః ఏతాన్యష్టాప్యయత్నాన్యపి కలి సమయే త్వత్ప్రసాద ప్రవృద్ధ్యా క్షిప్రం ముక్తిప్రదానీత్యభిదధుః ఋషయః తేషు మాం సజ్జయేథాః అని ఒక కర్మమిశ్ర భక్తి అనే ఘట్టంలో గంగా, గీత, గాయత్రి, తులసి, గోపీచందనం, సాలగ్రామ పూజ, పరపురుష తథా ఏకాదశి, ఇవి నామవర్ణా. ఇవి 8 ఎక్కడ ఉంటాయో అక్కడ నన్ను ఉంచు అని. ఈ 8 కూడా మనకి ఆశ్రమంలో ఉన్నాయి, దత్తపీఠంలో ఉన్నాయి. అటువంటి సన్నిధిలో ఏకాదశి కూడా ఈరోజు కలిసి వచ్చింది. అటువంటి మంచి సంధి సమయంలో పారాయణ చేసుకున్నాం. చాలా సంతోషం. టీచర్లు ఎంతో భక్తిగా కృషి చేసి అందరికీ నేర్పుతున్నారు. మీకు అందరికీ కూడా దత్తాజీ వారి ఆశీస్సులు. టీచర్స్కి అందరికీ నారాయణీయం నేర్పుతూ మంచి సేవ చేస్తున్నారు. త్వరలోనే మనం గురువాయూరప్ప సన్నిధిలో నారాయణీయం పారాయణ చేసుకోవాలి. ఇప్పుడే మన చెన్నై విశ్వనాథ్ గారికి చెప్తూ ఉన్నాను, వారు అటువైపు అక్కడి వారే. అక్కడ ఎక్కడ మనం పారాయణ చేయొచ్చు, దేవాలయం చుట్టూ కూర్చుని పారాయణ చేస్తే చాలా అద్భుతంగా ఉంటుంది, దానికే ప్రయత్నం చేయండి అని చెప్పాను ఆయనకి. చూద్దాం, త్వరలోనే వెళదామా? వస్తారా అందరూ? జై బలో గురువాయూరప్పనకు
జై.
ఒక 2 కీర్తనలు పాడతారు, అందరూ కూడా విని తర్వాత ఈరోజు సత్సంగం. బాలగోపాలకో విజయతే, ఈరోజు ప్రొద్దున వాళ్ళు కూడా పాడారు. సత్యం శుద్ధం విబుద్ధం జయతి తవ వపుః నిత్యముక్తం నిరీహం నిర్ద్వంద్వం నిర్వికారం నిఖిల గుణగణ వ్యంజనాధారభూతం నిర్మూలం నిర్మలం తత్ నిరవధి మహిమోల్లాసి నిర్లీనమంతః నిస్సంగానాం మునీనాం నిరుపమ పరమానంద సాంద్ర ప్రకాశం సత్వేనా సత్తయా వా నచ ఖలు సదసత్వేన నిర్వాచ్య రూపా దత్తే యాసావ విద్యా గుణఫణిమతివద్ విశ్వదృశ్యావభాసం విద్యాత్వం సైవయాత శ్రుతివచనలవైః యత్కృపాస్యందలాభే సంసారారణ్య సద్య త్రుటన పరశుతామేతి తస్మై నమస్తే తస్మై నమస్తే. శబ్ద బ్రహ్మేతి కర్మేత్యణురితి భగవన్ కాల ఇత్యాలపంతి త్వామేకం విశ్వహేతుం సకలమయతయా సర్వథా కల్ప్యమానం వేదాంతైర్యత్తు గీతం పురుష పరచిదాత్మాభిధం తత్తు తత్వం ప్రేక్షామాత్రేణ మూల ప్రకృతి వికృతి కృత్ కృష్ణ తస్మై నమస్తే కృష్ణ తస్మై నమస్తే కృష్ణ తస్మై నమస్తే కృష్ణ తస్మై నమస్తే కృష్ణ తస్మై నమస్తే. అవ్యక్తం తే స్వరూపం చెప్పండి. అవ్యక్తం తే స్వరూపం
అవ్యక్తం తే స్వరూపం
దురధిగమతమం
దురధిగమతమం
తత్తు శుద్ధైక సత్వం
తత్తు శుద్ధైక సత్వం
వ్యక్తం చాప్యేతదేవ
వ్యక్తం చాప్యేతదేవ
స్ఫుటమమృత
స్ఫుటమమృత
రసాంబోధి
రసాంబోధి
కల్లోల తుల్యం
కల్లోలతుల్యం
సర్వోత్కృష్టామభీష్టాం
సర్వోత్కృష్టామభీష్టాం
తదిహ గుణరసేనైవ
तदिह गुणरसेनैव
चित्तं हरन्तीं
चित्तं हरन्ति
मूर्तिं ते संश्रयेऽहम् पवनपुरपते पाहि मां कृष्णरोगात् पवनपुरपते पाहि मां कृष्णरोगात् गुरुवायूरप्प गुरुवायूरप्प बालगो पालको विजयते विजयते बालगो पालको विजयते विजयते गोपिका नायको विजयते विजयते गोपिका नायको विजयते विजयते बालगो पालको विजयते विजयते गोपिका नायको विजयते विजयते
पालको
विजयते विजयते
गोपिका नायको विजयते विजयते
अधर कलित तरल मुरळि परिणतो विजयते
अधर कलित तरल मुरळि परिणतो विजयते
मुरळिरवळि जनित वितत निगमको विजयते
मुरळिरवळि जनित वितत निगमको विजयते
वितत निगम वितति विदित महिमको विजयते
वितत निगम वितति विदित महिमको विजयते
विदित महिमा विबुध विनुत पदयुगो विजयते
विदित महिमा विबुध विनुत
पदयुगो विजयते बालगो पालको विजयते विजयते गोपिका नायको विजयते विजयते बालगो
पालको विजयते विजयते गोपिका नायको विजयते विजयते
चपल चरण तकिट तकिट पटु कटु स्पंदना
चपल चरण तकिट तकिट पटु कटु स्पंदना
कालियाख्यनाग शिरसि घटित नटन कोविदो
कालियाख्यनाग शिरसि घटित नटन कोविदो
वल्लवी विलास हास भासुरोरुलास्यको
वल्लवी विलास हास भासुरोरुलास्यको
चिल्लकाल कांत कांति दंतुरो विजयते
चिल्लकाल कांत कांति
दंतुरो विजयते बालगो पालको विजयते विजयते गोपिका नायको विजयते विजयते
बालको पालको विजयते
हरि कृष्णा गुरुवायूरप्पा
नायको
कृष्णा 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 पालको विजयते
विजयते
गहन दहन हरण निपुण विपुल विमल मुख तटो
गहन दहन हरण निपुण विपुल विमल मुख तटो
हर गगन वसति रसिक ललित चरण युगल को
हर गगन वसति रसिक ललित चरण युगल को
धनुज दमन विबुध भरण चरणि जोरु विक्रमो
धनुज दमन विबुध भरण चरणि जोरु विक्रमो
महित सचिदानंद सुंदरात्मको विजयते
महित सचिदानंद सुंदर
आत्मको
विजयते
महित सचिदानंद सुंदरात्मको विजयते
महित सचिदानंद सुंदरात्मको विजयते
बालगोपालको विजयते विजयते गोपिका नायको विजयते विजयते बालगोपालको विजयते विजयते गोपिका नायको विजयते 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 बालगोपालको विजयते विजयते गोपिका नायको विजयते विजयते बालगोपालको विजयते विजयते गोपिका नायको विजयते विजयते बालगोपालको विजयते विजयते कृष्ण हरे नारायण गुरुवायुरप्प पवनपुराधीश्वर कृष्ण विठ्ठल पांडुरंगा बालगोपालको विजयते विजयते गोपिका नायको विजयते विजयते बालगोपालको विजयते विजयते गोपिका नायको विजयते 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 जय बोलो गुरुवायूरप्पनक जय स्नेहस्नुतैस्त्वां सुरभिः पयोभिः गोविन्दनामाङ्कितमभ्यषिञ्चत् ऐरावतोपाहृतदिव्यगङ्गा पाथोभिरिन्द्रोऽपि च जातहर्षः स्नेहस्नुतैस्त्वां सुरभिः पयोभिः गोविन्दनामाङ्कितमभ्यषिञ्चत् ऐरावतोपाहृतदिव्यगङ्गा पाथोभिरिन्द्रोऽपि च जातहर्षः गोविन्द जय जय गोपाल जय राधारमण जय रामकृष्ण जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय राधारमण जय रामकृष्ण जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय राधारमण जय रामकृष्ण जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय राधारमण जय रामकृष्ण जय
विशाल रूप जय विश्वरक्ष जय
विशाल रूप जय विश्वरक्ष जय
दामोदरा जय राधा कृष्ण जय
दामोदरा जय राधा कृष्ण जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय राधारमण जय रामकृष्ण जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय राधारमण जय रामकृष्ण जय
धरणीन्द्र प्रभु जय पद्मनाभ जय
धरणीन्द्र प्रभु जय पद्मनाभ जय
रमणीय मोहन कृष्ण हरि जय
रमणीय मोहन कृष्ण हरि जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय राधारमण जय रामकृष्ण जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय राधारमण रामकृष्ण जय
जय जय कृष्ण जय हरि कृष्ण कृष्ण
जय जय कृष्ण जय हरे कृष्ण
मनमोहन जय श्रीधर जय
मनमोहन जय श्रीधर जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय राधारमण जय रामकृष्ण जय जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय राधारमण जय रामकृष्ण जय
जय जगदीश जय मृदु भाषा
जय जगदीश जय मृदु भाषा
सच्चिदानंद नरसिंह जय
सच्चिदानंद नरसिंह जय
सच्चिदानंद नरसिंह जय
सच्चिदानंद नरसिंह जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय राधारमण जय रामकृष्ण जय
गोविंद जय जय गोपाल जय राधारमण जय रामकृष्ण जय
राधारमण जय रामकृष्ण जय जय
राधारमण जय
रामकृष्ण जय जय ఏడుకొండలవాడ వెంకటరమణ గోవింద
गोविंद
ఏకాదశి वैवस्वताख्यमनुपुत्र नभागजात नाभागनामक नरेन्द्रसुतोऽम्बरीषः सप्तार्णवावृतमहीदयितोऽपि रेमे त्वत्सङ्गिषु त्वयि च मग्नमनाः सदैव त्वत्सङ्गिषु त्वयि मग्नमनाः सदैव एकादशी एकादशी एकादशी
एकादशी
विष्णो सदा पाददासी विष्णो सदा पाददासी एकादशी एकादशी विष्णो सदा पाददासी एकादशी
एकादशी विष्णु सदा
पाददासी उपवासा जागरणात् हरिनाम संस्मरणात्
उपवासा जागरणात् हरिनाम संस्मरणात्
हरि 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 हरि
हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि
हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि
हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि
हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि
हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि
हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि
हरि हरि हरि हरि हरि
उपवासा जागरणात् हरिनाम संस्मरणात्
उपवासा
जागरणात्
हरिनाम संस्मरणात्
भक्तानां बहुगुणितं पुण्यं या संविधत्ते
भक्तानां बहुगुणितं पुण्यं या संविधत्ते
एकादशी एकादशी विष्णो सदा पाददासी हरिसविधे दीपदानात् धीतमसा नाशकर्त्री
हरिसविधे दीपदानात् धीतमसा नाशकर्त्री
हरिपदयोश्चिन्तनाद्य परमपद प्रपयित्री
हरिपदयोश्चिन्तनाद्य परमपद प्रपयित्री
एकादशी एकादशी विष्णु सदा पाददासी एकादशी
एकादशी विष्णु सदा पाददासी
सद्वादशी व्रतमथो भवदर्चनार्थम् वर्षं दधौ मधुवने यमुनोपकण्ठे पत्न्या समं सुमनसा महतीं वितन्वन् पूजां द्विदेषु विसृजन् पशुषष्टिकोटिम् द्वादश्यां पारणाद्य हरिरतिसम्पादयित्री
द्वादश्यां
पारणाद्य
हरिरतिसम्पादयित्री
द्वादश्यां पारणाद्य हरिरतिसम्पादयित्री
द्वादश्यां पारणाद्य हरिरतिसम्पादयित्री
बुद्धिशुद्धि ज्ञानदात्री सच्चिदानन्ददात्री
बुद्धिशुद्धि ज्ञानदात्री
सच्चिदानन्ददात्री बुद्धिशुद्धि ज्ञानदात्री सच्चिदानन्ददात्री
बुद्धिशुद्धि ज्ञानदात्री सच्चिदानन्ददात्री
सच्चिदानन्ददात्री आनन्ददात्री
सच्चिदानन्ददात्री
एकादशी एकादशी विष्णु सदा पाददासी एकादशी एकादशी विष्णु सदा पाददासी विष्णु सदा पाददासी विष्णु सदा पाददासी। जय बोलो एकादशी मातकू जय बोलो लक्ष्मी नारायण स्वामी की
जय
सप्तगिरिवासा गोविंदा गोविंदा।
त्वमेव माता पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धु सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या किरणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैव बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणाय समर्पयामि अच्युतं केशवं नारायणं श्रीधरं माधवं गोपिकावल्लभं हरे राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे सर्वे च सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् श्रीगणेशाय नमः श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीपादवल्लभनरसिंहसरस्वती श्रीगुरुदत्तात्रेयाय नमः असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा